This week on Lemon's Car Spotting.
Hey everyone, it's Nick and Eric. This is Lemon's Car Spotting. We've got a special week for you. This time, it's all of the vans you guys found on Instagram and tagged with Lemon's Car Spotting. Let's get into them.
Yeah, more like Insta van, am I right? Yeah. Chevy G20. Boy, Cape News. Does that say Cape News Cod? Is that what that says?
I thought it was Cape News Co. as in company, but yeah.
Well, man. I mean, first of all, when was the last time you saw a normal sized van being used as a newspaper delivery van? So that's strike one. This thing's obviously been sitting for 30 years. It has the bed sheets, obligatory bed sheets as curtains in the back, which means somebody customized this. And then there is the patchwork, potentially corrugated metal siding that has been bondoed into this thing. This is a hell of a van, man. This has all the creeper vibes.
It's quite the thing, yeah. And I was gonna say, not to make light of child kidnapping and whatnot, but yeah, this is the prototypical candy van, as they say, and they don't make vans like this anymore. So, I mean, I think we're right on the cusp of the Sprinter being the child kidnapper machine of choice. I don't know. Let us know in the comments what's going to take over from the full-size American van. I mean, I guess Ford's still making the Transit, so that's a, natural transition.
Yeah. This is probably it's got to be a small block Chevy and some kind of 3 or 4 speed automatic probably. Although they did make these with manual transmissions, occasionally column shifted. So.
Yeah. Well, they made them forever, so they had pretty much all the choices at one point or another.
Yeah, this is either a 1971 or a 1999.
Right. So. Exactly. Yeah. All right, moving on. We've got ourselves. We're custom vanning now. This is it also a Chevy? I think it is. Which I will say is kind of the least common of this sort of cab over smaller van of the 60s. The Dodge A100 and the Ford Econoline being maybe a little bit more common than the Chevy. This one, of course, has some sweet custom touches. Got the CB radio antenna. Vanning obviously was a big thing in the 70s and then had a resurgence where hipsters who were into the 70s were doing it. Where are we at now in the scheme of vintage custom vanning?
Yeah, I feel like this one probably not real popular with the hashtag van life crowd, but there's still a custom van world. It's younger. I'm going to go ahead and put this out there, and it's hashtag boogie van. This is the stoner metal vehicle of choice. So, God, what band did boogie van? That's going to bother me.
Tell us in the comments.
Tell us in the comments. It's not Queens of the Stone Age, but it's somebody of that ilk. So,
and what was the van? There was some band's van that Kurt Cobain did a Sharpie rendition of the band Kiss on the side of.
Yeah, that was the Mel van of the
right.
Melvins. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Which sold at auction for $10,000 or something. I mean, it's crappy
all
old
in the
G20.
Kurt Cobain Sharpie, or I guess I don't know. It's representative of a time and place of whatever the pre-grunge rock era.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole. Yeah, vans are certainly a thing, but there's a whole subgenre of punk rock vans that have kind of disappeared. Like nobody's touring in an 83 Econoline anymore. Right. So
that's true. Yeah, if you have a van now, if you have a band now, what van are you touring in, and what is its name? Tell us in the comments.
It's the Transit. They're all. It's the Transit.
I don't know. It's not as romantic. All right, next up.
Ah, man, sticking with Chevy. This one has a house on top of it, which is a nice touch, gotta say. Slightly disappointed that they didn't use the same roofing material as their lodging, assuming this is where they live, which is maybe a big assumption. Man, you gotta put some actual shingling on there, I think.
Yeah, initially I thought it was just sort of a roof deck, but yeah, clearly it's got sort of a peak to it, and it's got what looks like aluminum siding or something. What is it? It's a Santana. I bet you that Carlos Santana toured in a van at some point in his career. This is pretty good. It looks like it's got some propane or something hookup. So this van might actually be somewhat equipped with the comforts and conveniences of home. Pretty sweet. It's got to be homemade, though. I don't think that this is. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. Tell us in the comments if the Santana just included sort of a Sears garden shed screwed to the top as part of the RV conversion.
Yeah. Panama car spotting in the comments, pretty much mirroring what's going on in my head, which is what in the Rocky Mountain High is going on here. I will say, this is the hashtag van life, this is closer to, I think, the motif of that. But crucially, 3-tone brown rally wheels and the big cool Santana logo on it. Those are crucial design elements, I'd say.
Gotta have those factors. All right, next up. Oh, dude. Oh, is it a Terraza?
It is a Terraza,
dude. I wouldn't necessarily have been able to access that so quickly had we not just been talking about the Buick Terraza.
Right.
So after filming an episode of Lemon's Car Spotting, Eric and I were talking about the 2007 Buick lineup, and we said, oh, I don't know. What did they have? They had the Terraza, the Rendezvous, the Rainier, the Lacrosse, and the Lucerne. I don't know, and whatever else. And it turned out we had accidentally named all of the models for the 2007 Buick model year.
We had gone 5 for 5 completely accidentally.
Which, I mean, I don't know. That's right on the border of, hey, that's pretty cool, and hey, you have completely wasted your entire life.
Yeah. Man, a couple things to note here. One, the caption on this photo is perfect. I'll just let you read that real quick.
It says, oh God, it's a Terraza. Which, yes, that is correct.
And on a recent episode, there was a Hyundai Elantra wagon where I called out the distressing face in the nose of the car. Yeah. And I had not to this point noticed the Terraza looks very concerned about its entire existence if you put a face on the nose of this car. Seems to be asking a lot of existential questions.
That's definitely a me at the 7th grade dance face. Or me after eating gas station food face. So I don't know what there is to say. I mean, this is sort of like the last gasp for the Dustbuster chassis. Is that right?
Yeah, this is some vague evolution thereof, if you can call it an evolution. It actually, to me, looks several orders of magnitude uglier than, say, a Olds. Oh God, what was the Olds? I'm blanking. Oh no, Silhouette. The Silhouette.
There you go.
Yeah, the first gen.
I said Transport. No, Transport. No. Damn it.
Yeah. This one's got like a body kit or the side skirt, which makes me think it might be a handicap van. But I will point out the absolutely amazing, AutoZone brand hubcaps hooked on it that really shine it up. So
God, I thought those were just kind of sweet alloy wheels. But yeah,
maybe they are.
Either way, it's a nice effect. All right. Next up. Oh. Oh, dude. Hella sweet.
Yeah, this is what is this? What would you call this? A Van Amino, I think, is what is in the accepted parlance of that. The homemade pickup truck out of the van. Slightly disappointed you can't see the backside of the cab because I'm sure it's fascinating. I do love that they cut the running board in half and diamond plated it, and they've got the rail over the bed, probably to keep you from slicing your hand open on the jagged metal. And it's for sale. You could have this thing.
I mean, of all of the things to amino, the van sure seems like an obvious and maybe not often done option. It's a cab over engine situation, so the space efficiency, if not the crash safety, is excellent. Body on frame, and then the back already has sort of a load deck. All you got to do is cut the top off. So why don't we have more Van Aminos, or in this case a Van Chero?
Yeah. Good question. We did have one famously way back in the day, in the early days of Lemons, that had a small block Chevy, and the back was cut off, and it was done up like Snoopy's doghouse.
Yeah,
it was Dave Morrow, who famously blew the engine up at Nelson's Ledges and was swapping it into mud, and then promised to come back with it twin ghetto charged with 2 turbos he took off of a diesel something, I think. And then he did all of these things. He built a mid-engine twin turbo Van Amino that famously ran for about 2 hours, and then everything caught on fire. So,
I mean, 2 hours is about 1.98 hours longer than anybody thought it was going to run. So I would call that a success.
Yeah.
Where is that car today? One wonders.
Well, it burned. See.
That's right. I completely glossed over the last part of your story. That kind of seems to be the important part, doesn't it?
That said, still one of the greatest, probably 100 Lemons cars ever built. So
we should do that. A countdown list of the greatest Lemons cars of all time.
It's not a bad
all
idea.
right. Last for this week. 2 for 1. Yeah. Got a couple of Fords. What's happening here?
I see 2 vans in process.
Well, because the obvious conclusion would be that it's one owner who is, somewhat of a van collector and connoisseur. But the fact that one is weirdly parked on the driveway and the other one is on the street makes me think that the photographer is the owner of the one on the street and posed his van next to the other van that's in very similar condition. But I don't know. That's probably reading too much into it. It's got to be the same dude building 2 vans at once, and they're both sort of half, if that, completed. But I like what I see. We've got 2 different kinds of custom windows. Got to have that.
Yep.
The wheels are good. Both different versions of sort of 70s slot mag aesthetics. Yep. Got ourselves graphics and 2 tones and all sorts of interesting visual accoutrement. This dude is making it all happen.
Yeah, he's got the vent on top, which is probably a small heater. You could live in this thing. Don't know if I'd recommend it, but this person definitely has a type. It's pretty great. And we saw it, I think it was the second photo, but the black over orange might actually be the most 70s aesthetic that exists.
If not orange over brown, but I know what you mean.
The orange is a major player and underrated in 1970s graphics,
right.
I would say.
Yeah,
as far as recollecting such things. I do love I don't know what you call those, triple slash windows. That's pretty sweet. I'm super into that.
Excellent. I mean, choosing the right window for the back of your custom van is really one of the first and most important decisions you have to make.
Well, that's a good point. What are the crucial elements to custom vanning? Like it's you got to have good graphics. You got to have good windows. You got to have fender flares. And you got to have the right wheel choice with raised white letter tires. I think those are the crucial elements.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, yeah, there's a lot of optional ones, but I think that you got to lay down that foundation for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I've got the hooptiest for this week. I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning to our Cape News. Interestingly, you said that it was a newspaper delivery van, which I think you're probably right. Initially, my thought was it was like the Cape News remote broadcast team, reporting from the harbor where, the nor'easter is coming through. But I think you're actually right that it was just some dude driving around throwing newspapers out the window of this thing.
Yeah.
And like you said, that was a minimum of 30 years ago before it got parked permanently.
Yeah. I just noticed the CB antenna on the roof that has obviously hit everything.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. Nice little touch there.
Yeah.
Would like to see a close up of the wheels to see them completely rusted through. But I've got the Lemons build for this week. And I mean, Lemons Rally is the domain of good custom vans. So really any of these are amazing choices for the rally. The 250 van, the orange forward control one, that's really good. The pair of Econolines at the end, but I mean, you want to come racing. You obviously want a vehicle that has donated its engine to many Lemons cars. Talking, of course, about the Buick Terraza, and you do a whole motif around the face of this car, and I think you've got your theme pretty well done already.
Yeah, well, and you mentioned the engine swap. This is some evolution of the 60-degree pushrod V6. And by its final version, it was making well over 200 horsepower. And as Anton Lovett has proved, you can put that motor into a Cavalier and dominate a Lemons race.
Yeah.
So, we've never seen a Terraza.
Never seen an Uplander, a Terraza, a Montana, or a Saturn Relay. So, they're all out there for you. By the way, in order, it is TUR, and they just missed having turd as the
man. So easily. General Motors, they always just just barely miss the mark, don't they?
Yep. The more I look at this, by the way, the more this car, this Terraza, this van, you just put 2 floppy ears off the roof and you have a dog. It's a big dog and it's ready to go. So
Mutt Cuts 2.0 for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you find any relays or Uplanders on your neighborhood constitutional, take a picture of it, post it on Instagram. We'll talk about it right here. So until next week, keep finding those cars.
Terraza is Latin for earth.